Hey there, my name's Heidi Perkins. I have primary Addison's disease or primary adrenal insufficiency. About 15 years ago, I had my first adrenal gland taken out because of pheochromocytoma, which was fine because I had another adrenal, which we thought would last my lifetime. But unfortunately, I ended up getting an incidental adenoma on that one, and it was about the size of a softball. So we had to go ahead and take that one out, thus leaving me with primary adrenal insufficiency or primary Addison's disease. So I had a very hard time in the very beginning. I could not tolerate hydrocortisone. It tore my stomach up. So we switched over to prednisone. And I also have epilepsy, and I'm on Dilantin, which is one of the only ones that will actually control my seizures. The unfortunate thing about Dilantin and any type of steroid is that Dilantin is an accelerator, which means it makes the drug hydrocortisone or prednisone or any steroid that I'm taking accelerate. So I'm only getting about a third of the amount that I should be getting compared to somebody that was not on Dilantin therapy. So, with that said, I did a lot of research. I'm in the medical field, so that helped quite a bit in being able to do a lot of research. I also teach, so I had access to a lot of libraries. But I ended up coming across the cortisol pump. I was thrilled. I was excited. My current lifestyle pretty much was getting up, getting a shower if I could. I had to sit down to take a shower. And then I went back to bed and stayed in bed all day because I didn't even have the energy to pretty much sit up. I slept probably 13, 14 hours a night, which was nice, but that was not my norm. Normally, I only sleep about 4 to 6 hours a night. And then through YouTube and some other Facebook channels, I was able to connect with somebody that prescribed the cortisol pump. I do have an endocrinologist, and he is amazing. I love him to death, but he's never done a cortisol pump before, so he was very nervous about starting it himself. And he was good with allowing me to have this other person start the pump, which is in another state, by the way. And so I see them regularly for cortisol pumping, and then I see my endocrinologist for, I don't know, 3, 4 times a year just to make sure I'm doing okay from an endocrine standpoint. So I am currently on Omnipod. The only reason why I am on Omnipod is because it was the quickest one for me to research at the time. Do I like it better than any of the other pumps out there? No, not really, not in particular. But it was the first one that I came across, and it is currently what I'm using right now. So I am going to show you how to, I guess, deactivate my old one, which I have on right here, and then how to fill up a new one, activate it, and get it put on. So I'm very excited about this because it's taken me a long time to actually get to this part of it. I feel great. I'm up, I'm working, I have no limitations per se, but of course I'm on a ton of medication aside the cortisol pump. So here's my pump. I absolutely love it. The arms are not my favorite. I tend to sleep on my right side, so I'm on my pump all the time. On the left side, I have a arm disease, so I'm not able to put anything on this side, thus leaving me with the back, legs, and belly, of course. So, first thing we need to do is actually get in and deactivate our pump that we currently have on. This is my PDM, and I have a gel cover on the back of it. But if you click on the side here, that will open it up. So I will put in, you have a passcode that they want you to put in to start with. And this is currently where I'm at right now. I'm not sure how well you can see that. It doesn't look like very well, but I only have about 16 units left in my pump. So I kind of pushed it a little bit because I wanted to get all I could get out of the drug because it is very expensive. So what I want to do, up here in the top corner, you have 3 dashes. I'm going to click on those 3 dashes. Then you have a menu listing. I'm going to click on Pod. And then I'm going to click on the bottom of it down here. It says Change Pump. Yes, I want to change my pump. So deactivate. This menu has just popped up. So I'm going to deactivate this one. And it takes just a minute. Not sure if you heard that beep beep or not. And then the kadunk within this, the PDM itself, that tells me that my pod is no longer active and that I need to go ahead and get another one put on. So let me show you how to do that. At the very bottom of the screen, it says set up, there we go, set up new pump, which is what I'm going to click. And then it wants me to actually insert the medication, which is what I want to show you how to do now. So I'm going to bend my laptop down so you can kind of see what I've got in front of me here. Being in the medical field, I am kind of a stickler about having a very clean area. So, but I have alcohol in this with cotton ball on top. I have some 2x2s whenever I take my old pump off. I have Wild Wings. No, I'm not supporting Wild Wings. I just use their hand tellets every time we go there. I've already mixed up one Solucortef, but I wanted to show you how to mix another one. That's why I only have one insulin syringe needle. Now, I use the N100 needles. I find them to be easier, and I get the 28 gauge half-inch because it's easier to pull up sterile water. Then I have the pod itself. Within the pod, as you will see, you have the pod here. And then on this side, they provide a syringe as well as a needle across the top here. Now, for you cortisol pumpers, super, super important. And whenever we get there, I'll actually show it to you. But on the back side of the pump, it actually says contains a particular insulin. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that what is in this pump is not insulin. So let's go ahead and draw up. I'm going to clean off my hands first here, and then I'm going to grab a sterile wipe so that I can clean off the top of this. But yes, I did wash my hands, and yes, I'm going to wipe them off again really good before we get started here. I also want you to know that beside me here, oops, let's see if I can get it in camera, I have a red trash can, which indicates just stuff that like Band-Aids with blood on it or anything like that. And then I also have a Sharpie container, which I keep my Sharpies in. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some mixing here. So I have a sterile wipe, only because my sterile water is already open. And as I said, I had already mixed one. What I use is Solucortef 100 milligram powder. This is injectable powder. And then I use sterile water, 10 mils. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to do this here. So you want to make sure always, make sure you clean off the top of your bottles if you've already opened them. Super important. And then we'll take our syringe here, going to pop off the back of this cap. I'm going to take our Solucortef powder. We're going to pop that cap off. There we go. Now we're going to take our syringe. Now, something super important. Anytime you're injecting something into a closed bottle, you have to balance the air that's in there. So we are going to pull all the way back to 100 because that's how much air that I want to put in so that I can get that much juice or fluid back out of this bottle. So the easiest way is to line it up, try and hit it right in the center. Squirt all of your water in, turn your bottle upside down, and just start pulling. Pull down until your syringe is full at the 100, okay? Now, I am not going to worry about a ton of air bubbles in this because the pump is going to prime all of that for me. So what we're going to do now, going to take another alcohol prep, clean the top off. Now, for the powder, I like to go down with it. If you're drawing something up, then yes, you can go obviously up this way. But since this is powder, I shoot it in and kind of swirl it around. And then you're going to twirl the bottle and you want to get that mixed up. So right now, this is a really milky looking liquid. We don't want it that way, so we're going to have to let this sit for just a minute. This is actually what it should look like, and this means it's ready to be drawn up. But we're going to have to wait just a second for this one to get there. So while that's doing that, tell you what, let's go back to our PDM and keep going forward. As we said before, we've activated our PDM for a new pod, and it was actually wanting us to open it up and inject our medicine in there. So we'll go ahead and do that on this first bottle. We have to open up our pod here to do that. So there is a little leaflet on the side. You just want to pull back. Remember, try and keep this all as clean as you can. It's not going to be perfect, but you want to try and keep things, other bacterial, other nasties outside of this, because we don't want to introduce anything into our bodies whenever we're doing the injection. So here's the needle, cute little thing, and then, or the syringe, and then here's the needle. It's a teeny tiny little needle. You're going to stick it on and just twist. Make sure that it's good and tight on there, because the last thing you want is that lid coming off whenever you're in the middle of drawing something out. So we are going to go back to our original bottle, and remember, going to clean our tops. We're going to hold it upside down this time. And remember, we got to balance the air that's in there. So I always just pull back on a full one, pop it in. It's a little tiny needle. Squirt your air in. And then something I want you to see. See that little crook right there? That allows the needle to line up, and you can draw all the fluid that's in there out of it. Let me see if I can get it in a better line up here. There we go. So my bottle's empty. I'm ready to discard that in the trash can. Now let's look at our second bottle. See if we're about ready here. Yeah, we're pretty close. It's fairly clear. It's got a little bit more time to go. Let me just give it a little swirl. I don't really want to inject unless it's nice and clear. There it comes. It's clearing up now. So, all right. Let me just give another shake. Yeah, we're good. So, remember, we're going to take our top alcohol pad. Okay, pull back further on that syringe. Get some more air in there, okay? Then just stick her in. Inject what little air you have, not the fluid, just the air. Then we're going to come back and finish pulling out the rest of that Solucortef. All right, now here is when it makes a difference. This syringe only holds 2 mils, okay? That's as far down as it's going to go. Each bottle holds 100 1 mil. So you've got 1 mil plus 1 mil, and this is only going to hold 2 mils. So I do just kind of click it on the side here, not the actual plunger here, but here, and then just kind of push to squirt up. This is one of the hardest syringes I've ever had to push. These things are tight and take a little bit of fluid that shoots through. Now, next thing, we are going to take our pod. Going to snap this off here, the blue part, and then right here, see that? Point you right to where you need to inject. See if I can get my fingers coordinated. I'm backwards, right there. Now, the one thing I wanted to make sure you're aware of. So this pod, and I hope you can see it, I don't know if you can or not, but it says it contains insulin. And it does not obviously contain insulin. So, and then here's the size of the needle, teeny tiny. So we're going to take, and there's a little hole right in the center, line it up, and then I'm going to be quiet because I want you to hear the beep beep. So push down, you come around and push this way. Did you get that? Beep beep. That means I got all in that I needed to get in there, which is awesome. So I'm going to take my Sharpies, I'm going to put it aside and not keep it close to me because I don't want to get stuck by that thing. Now, let's get rid of some garbage here. Lay this baby down, kind of clean some out. I personally am going to go for the leg today. Now, I kind of printed off this little thing. Shows me where I can put all the pods at. It's not like I don't know, because yes, I do know, but honestly, I tend to forget. I'm getting older, but I've got some alcohol pushing on my little pump here, and I am going to go right on the side of my thigh here. Now, if you look at the chart, remember, on the legs, it'll show you where you can put it. So don't put it too much towards the front. So one of my favorite spots, woo-hoo-hoo, if I don't fall off my chair, is about right here, towards the side some. All right, now I'm going to take my pod, and there's little peelies on both sides. So I'm going to peel this side off. I'm going to peel this side off. Okay, then we are going to take our filled up pod with the stickies off and go right on the leg here. Hope you can see that okay. Now, I am getting older, so my skin is getting drier. I don't need skin prep or any kind of extra things to hold this bad boy on, because it doesn't want to come off to begin with. Now, another measure that I take, I have a little brother printer, and I print off these little stickers, and it says contain Solu-Cortef, not insulin. Usually if something happens dire and you end up in the emergency room or the hospital, whichever, the first thing they usually want to do is take your pump off. I don't want them taking my pump off. What I do is just peel the sticker off the back and then just place it right smack on the front, just like that. That way they know when they see this, this is not insulin. This is Solu-Cortef, okay? All right, now, another thing I like to kind of brag about. I have an amazing friend who makes pods. It's called Omnisnaps. And am I pushing them? Yes, because I love them. Am I getting anything free from them? No, not at all. I just want you guys to know that these are amazing snaps. They protect my pod. And she will design pretty much anything you'd like her to put on it. This is one of my favorite Diet Coke ones. So I'm going to take it, and I am just simply going to snap it on my pod. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, let's go back to our PDM. Did we inject our medicine? Yes. We're going to click next on it. And then it says to peel off the blue tab, which we've done, and now it's communicating with the pod. Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it or not. You have to have your your PDM pretty close to your pod, otherwise they have a hard time communicating. So I'm going to come back down here and say, try again. And hopefully in just a few seconds, I'm going to hear this thing start clicking. It says communicating with pod. Now, whenever it starts clicking, what it's actually doing is priming the tubing that's on the inside of the pod here. Not sure if you can hear that ticking. Sounds like a ticking time bomb, but it's not. I promise. It's awesome. So it's priming out any air that's in the tubing, and it's getting everything lined up and getting it ready to push the needle in. So how long you have to wait, actually it depends on the amount of air that gets pushed in. So that's why in that very last part, the last needle that I use that comes from the pod, that I'll go ahead and get as much air out as I can. All right, now it says prepare fusion. All right, so everything looks good. We've communicated. Next thing I want to do is hit next. And now we want to confirm that it is attached. And it is going to get it ready and insert the needle. And what the needle does is woo, don't know if you heard that bang, but what the needle does is it inserts a cannula, just like an IV. Okay, so now it's all on. I'm primed, I'm good. So it's going to ask, do I see a red hole down here that shows some red? Yes, that I can. So I'm going to click yes. And now I am all set and ready to go. My pod is active and I'm getting the correct amount that I'm supposed to be getting. So, see? Easy. Super easy to set these up. Now, I never want to forget about the last part of this because I think it's just as important as the first part, which is actually taking your old pod off. So some people start at the bottom, some start at the top. I just kind of go around and see if I can get my fingers up underneath it here. And then I like to have a little 2x2 ready with just a little bit of alcohol on it. Remember, this has got a cannula sticking in you. It is not painful, but see, wow, this one actually had some bruising. And it is probably because this is the arm that I sleep on. So I'm going to drop my pod down there, put a little pressure on this. Like I said, my arms are not my favorite spot, but it was the easiest way that I could show you how to put one of these pods on. So let's just do a little cleanup here. Don't forget your Band-Aid. We need to cover it up just at least for 24 hours like any other injection. So if you go for your flu shot, it will put a Band-Aid on. So be sure and put a Band-Aid on your old one. And take care of your skin. Take care of yourself. So a couple of things. Let's see. I have an old, let me turn her around here, Superwoman cover. So super easy to get these off. You just hold it and twist each one of the corners. Well, of course, now it's not going to do it because I'm doing it on video. But they're easy to get off. There we go. Snaps right off. And I will wipe this down with alcohol, clean it, make sure that it is looking good before I'll use it again. Now, I just wanted to take some of the old, oh goodness, if I can get this off here, because I want to show you, this is the backing that actually went on the Omnipod itself. There's the computer system, super cool. There's your tubing, and I wanted to kind of show you, maybe if I come on my chin right here. See the cannula that's sticking out? That's actually what you're going to be getting your Sollicor through, or your insulin, or cancer medicine, or antiemetic, or whichever medicine that you are taking. So, super important. Take care of your skin. Clean up after each pod. Be sure that you clean before you put a pod on. Wash your hands before you even start. Something that kind of drives me crazy about these 10 ml bottles of sterile water, I'm only pulling 2 ml out, right? So that leaves 8 ml. Unfortunately, garbage. I don't reuse those. I practice what I preach when it comes to nursing. So, yes, I would love to, but we can't. All right, that went in my bag. Any other kind of paper goodies, I always put in my trash can. Any kind of Sharpies or even the pod itself goes into my sharp container. So be sure that you have sharp containers close by whenever you change yours out. I get mine off Amazon. You can get them at Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, any drugstore, pretty much anywhere. Have your trash can that has your red liner in it, indicating bodily fluids. And don't forget about your pods. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please put them down in chat, and I will see if there's any way that I can help answer those questions. And keep pumping. Have a good one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.